Breaking news. More than 140 countries recognize that Palestine does exist just moments ago. Spain, Norway, and Ireland have announced that they will recognize Palestine as a state that does exist and is sovereign. Everything will be on May 28th, and in this way, there are now more than 140 countries that recognize Palestine. The president of Spain, Pedro Sánchez, has sent a strong message. He has said that the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, doesn't want to listen to the world and continues to bomb hospitals and schools, hurting innocent children and punishing more than 1 million innocent children in Palestine with hunger and cold. He has also accused that everything indicates that the Prime Minister of Israel does not want peace, but rather for Israel to take over Palestine. He has also accused that the government of Israel has caused a lot of pain and great destruction, and that for that reason, the countries that recognize human rights are obligated to act. That is why more and more countries around the world recognize that Palestine does indeed exist. And not only that, they accuse that the Prime Minister of Israel is committing atrocities in Palestine. Let me explain briefly what is happening. When World War II ended, many persecuted Jews wanted to create their own country, and that is why the New World Order, that is to say, the world powers that felt guilty for what they had done and suffered during World War II, decided to give a territory to the Jewish state, and that is how Israel was born. But while they gave a territory to the Jews, they took away territory from the Arabs in the region of Palestine. That territory has been in conflict for many years, even thousands of years. But when it was divided between Jews and Arabs, the conflict has become bigger. The Jews, having more military strength and being supported by the United States, have managed to appropriate more territories. So, to give you an idea of what happened is as if there is a cake, and it is arbitrarily divided in two, so two groups fight for that cake, but one of the groups is supported by a very powerful force, in this case the United States, and gradually it ends up taking over the other part. But not only that, it starts to hurt and punish the other group in a really brutal way. Well, that's what is happening with Israel and Palestine. But now that more than 140 countries have recognized Palestine as a sovereign state, they show that what Israel is doing was not appropriate, and that it is taking advantage and abusing its power. Just a few hours ago, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant against the Prime Minister of Israel. Of course, that is a process, and besides, Israel does not adhere to the rules of the International Criminal Court, so if he is in Israel, he cannot be arrested. Still, it shows that the world does not agree with what the government of Israel is doing. Here is a disturbing fact. Before the attack that Israel received, which is the justification for why Israel is attacking Palestine, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was about to fall in his country because people no longer wanted him. There were marches against him, demonstrations. His level of popularity was at a minimum, and coincidentally, this conflict begins and he reaffirms his power. So, more than 140 countries say no to the government of Israel, to all that it is causing, and hurting the people of Palestine, and they recognize that the people of Palestine indeed exist. However, there are countries that still do not do it, such as Germany, France, Italy, Australia, and especially two countries that strongly support Israel, the United Kingdom and the United States. But international pressure is growing, and people are telling the government of Israel that it cannot continue to commit so many abuses and do horrible and disturbing things, hurting innocents in Palestine. Tell me, what do you think about this? I read you in the comments.